Hello, and welcome to What's Your Testimony? I am the host, Sharita Williams, and today I have Coach Vince Jacobs here. He runs a national organization for high school. It's called VTO. He's going to be our guest today on What's Your Testimony, who we're sponsored by WYTV7.org, WYTV7.org. If you would like to be on What's Your Testimony, you can contact us at WYTV.org. And if you're enjoying these programs, please donate to WYTV.org. We are here today so that we can educate, empower, and encourage our listeners. Coach Vince, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Tell us a little bit about who you are, who's the man behind the program, and tell us about the program.
Sure. Again, my name is Vince Jacobs. Everybody call me Coach Vince. And I'm a native of Port Gibson, Mississippi, a little small town. I grew up there with my grandmother. I was a part of a teenage pregnancy, and my grandmother took me on and raised me. My mom went off to try to pursue her career. And I ended up playing football down there in Port Gibson, Mississippi, got a football scholarship to Alabama A&M University. Made a decision early on that I wasn't going to worry about the pros, but I was going to make sure I got a good degree. And I had a degree in computer science. And then I've been from there working in IT for the last 30 plus years. Moved to Charlotte about 20 years ago. And a couple of friends of mine, we all got together and we were trying to figure out how to get our sons recruited in the football world. And we knew at the time Charlotte didn't have a lot of camps coming to town. So we started VTO Sports. VTO Sports started out being basically three dads, Vince, Terrence, and Otis. And we just started doing camps in the Carolinas. And then from there, we got a contract with a company called Rivals.com and went national. About 2 years ago, Otis and Terrence decided that they were kind of burnt out and wanted to kind of step down. And so they stepped away from the organization, and I took over full-time as the CEO and owner of VTO Sports.
Okay, that's great. So, Coach Vince, what are some of the measures that you are planning to enforce during this COVID epidemic? We know that COVID-19, everybody is so big on safety. Safety is very important. So what kind of measures is your company going to take during this COVID-19 epidemic?
Well, we're watching and we're keeping up with all the local government, the national government on what they recommend. I've downloaded the CDC recommendations. Me and my staff, we've already had meetings to talk about how do we prepare our camps once we're allowed to start back hosting camps. That's the number one thing I want to point out. We have not been able to set any new dates yet. We had about 15 dates around the U.S. They all were postponed due to the COVID pandemic. And now we're working our way to figure out what we're going to be able to get done. Our first goal is to get our camp here in Charlotte and make sure we can let these kids in this area, which is our core, our home base, make sure they get a chance to come to the camp and get exposure. But from our perspective, we're going to do everything we can. We're going to make sure we're doing social distancing. We're going to ask the parents and athletes to make sure they come to the site with masks on. We're going to have security at the event. We normally don't have to have a lot of security, but we're going to make sure we have security on site to make sure people are doing social distancing. And we're going to do things like take temperatures of athletes before they come into the building and make sure if we see someone that may have a potential problem or risk to other athletes, we're going to ask that parent and that athlete to step aside. We're going to have nurses on site, and they're going to be able to talk to those parents and figure out if they need to go and get some additional testing. And then we're going to document everybody that comes through that didn't have a temperature versus the ones who did, and we're going to keep track of that. There's a website you can upload when you have an event, the people or anybody that had a temperature to the local health department. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure we're following all the rules. We're investing in it. We bought the forehead testers. We've got about 5 of them already here. We've ordered some extra masks in case people don't have a mask, because some kids coming from different areas may not have one. We're gonna make sure everybody can be safe as possible.
Okay. During this COVID-19 epidemic, are you going to limit the number of students that can participate in your camp during the summer?
Yes, we are. We normally have about 200 athletes at our camps. We're not a mega camp. We never have the numbers like some camps, 1,000, 2,000 kids. We're mostly a smaller camp so we can have personal attention with the kids. We normally do about 200. Right now, our plans are to max our camps out at 150, just based on how we're going to space the kids. We've kind of been doing some diagrams on the field so we can keep the pockets of athletes no more than 10 per group. And so with that being said, we're going to cut back from 200 athletes to about 150.
Okay. Now, what about parents and fans? Are you going to limit their access? Because sometimes, our kids, they're in because school's out, so they have less exposure. But parents are out working, fans are out working, different people are out working. Are you going to limit their exposure to coming into the camp?
Yes, we are. We normally do, our events are normally festive. We have concessions going. We got music playing. We have parents with their tents in the stands. We allow some of the parents who are coaches to come down on the field. But we've made a decision that we're going to limit that to the maximum amount of parents that can be in a stadium and be 6 foot apart, which is probably about 300 parents. And we normally just do one side of the field. We decided now we're going to use both sides of the field. We're going to have our security officers make sure that everybody is staying 6 foot apart, and making sure that once we get to capacity, we will stop letting parents in, letting fans in. We have a 200 camp athletes. We have about 300 to 400 fans and parents in the stadium. So we're probably expecting no more about maybe 100 to 150 parents. Parents only, no other guests. A lot of times we have like other coaches come and friends and girlfriends and stuff like that come watch the kids compete. But it's going to be limited to parents. And then once we reach our capacity, we'll shut it down.
Okay, that's great. Now, I know working out in the health field, a lot of people are against this, a mask. Yes. So what if someone come in and they don't want to wear this? Are you going to still let them in? No.
We're going to actually require that kids and parents have masks on while they're in line. Because the kids have to come through a registration process. They come in, we register them, we do their height, weight, we take their picture, and then we do a small interview with them. And no one will be allowed on the premises as a part of our camp without a mask on. Once the event starts, because we're going to keep the groups to 10 or more, they needs to be able to take off their masks then. But once we bring them all back together in one mask group, when we close out, we're going to require them to put their masks back on because they won't be exercising. They won't be running around. So one thing we were worried about is really impossible to force a kid to keep a mask on while they're competing because they're running, they're changing directions, and they could be hazardous to them health-wise as far as being able to breathe. So we're going to allow them to stay in groups of 10, which is the CDC max, and we're going to bring them back to the large groups. We're going to force them to put their masks on. We're going to tell them to keep the mask in your pocket, make sure it's available. All our coaches are going to wear masks. All our staff are going to wear masks. Our security officers are going to wear masks. And anybody that comes through our facility during our camps will have masks on. That would be strictly enforced.
Okay. And so that's how you're planning on enforcing it during this epidemic. So if they don't wear the mask, will they be removed from the camp, or
we're going to offer them a camp? We're going to offer them a mask if they don't have one, because I can't hold it against a parent or kid who may not have access to a mask. We've already ordered close to 100 masks. We're going to make those available to them. If they refuse to wear it, that's when our officers are going to ask them to leave the premises.
Okay. Now, is your organizations, do you have scholarships for the kids to get a part of your camp, or how do they get in contact with you to register for the camp?
Well, we have like one big national camp. It's called the All-American Challenge, and that's when we bring kids in from all over the country here to Charlotte. And that camp, we do have some scholarship funds where parents can go online, fill out a form, and we have we call it 10% scholarship capability. So we write 200 kids in, so we can count 20 of them based on eligibility. But the way to get a hold of BTO Sports is real easy. And the way to register is real easy. You go to our website, btosports.net. Again, V as in Vince, T as in Terrence, O as in Otis, .net. And then we have our camps listed. It's listed by city and by location. So you can go out there, you click register. Our camps are normally $99 for our normal camps around the country. And then our national camp is $200. But again, that's a 2-day camp. It's they get a whole bunch of nice stuff, different gear, and we have a keynote speaker that comes in, and it's a really good festive event. So we have to charge a little bit more because it's 2 days. But that's pretty much our line of business. We bring in writers and scouts and recruiters, and we use our camps to help kids get exposure. So when we look around at other camps that are $400, $500, $600, $700, when we talk to parents, they really feel that our camp is a major value based on what they get.
And that was going to be one of my questions about, I know everything's new with this COVID-19. This is the first time we've been in this type crisis or pandemic, what it may be called. But do you expect recruiters and recruitment to be low this year, or you don't really know what to expect? I know we're hoping for the best. We're hoping by the summer thing will be contained, but we don't know.
It's hard to say right now. I think people are biting at the chop to get out and do something. I mean, I got coaches from colleges, waiting to get access to seeing video and film on kids, waiting to see write-ups on kids. A lot of these kids are like 2021s, and they're rising seniors. This is their last chance to get exposure. If they don't get a chance to do something during the summer months between June, July, and August, and they go right into their football season, their football is available, they wouldn't have had any opportunity for people to see them other than their football film from their games. And the spring camps are really where a lot of kids get offers. A lot of kids get exposure because you can compete against kids you won't see normally during your football season. So we're hoping right now we have a couple of designated writers that are part of our team. They will be there. 24/7 Sports is our main writer. North Carolina NC Prep Rivals, that's our secondary writer. She's already committed. She'll be there in North Carolina. We host that event. And so we're hoping other guys we invite do show.
So your camp has been going on for 15 years. So what is your success rate for your camp in over these 15 years for college recruitment?
Yeah, we've got, it's really a blessing. We've had so many kids from our program who have gone on to go to college. And we promote the whole idea of it's not about the NFL, it's about getting a college degree. That's been our big theme. It's trying to talk to parents about, it doesn't make any difference what level of football you play at, whether it's D3, D2, D1. My nephew, for example, a great athlete, played here in Charlotte at South Meck, didn't get any offers, and he's going to go to a JUCO, which is nothing wrong with that. But I said, hey, if you go to JUCO, that's great, but what if you could talk to the coach who was recruiting you but didn't have a scholarship and see if you can walk on? And so we work with a lot of walk-on athletes, and he's now on scholarship at A&T, North Carolina A&T. He's a scholar athlete now, came in as a walk-on. So our ratio is very high. Last year we had right at 215 athletes at our national camp. That was the kids that are in college this year. Out of that 200 kids, we have 115 that actually are enrolled in college now, playing at some level.
That's fantastic. WYTV7, that's one of our missions, to educate, empower, and encourage. So it sounds like you're lining right up with WYTV7.org. With the epidemic, with the COVID epidemic going on, we realize that things are going on that the level of people that's coming out going to be low or not participating. Is there anything virtual that you're going to be doing to advertise, to get your company, your organization out there so people know that you are up and running for the summer?
Yeah, we have a really nice social media structure. We have a social media partner that we work with. Again, we'll be having our media people push out the dates and push out information to the kids. But our Twitter account has well over 12,000 followers. And so we'll push it out through that. We have a good relationship with Langston Worth here in Charlotte, who's the Charlotte Observer sports writer. He's done a lot of stuff with our company for letting people know what's going on. He'll tweet out stuff that's going on with us. So we feel confident once we get a date set that the parents and kids who want to participate and feel they need to participate will be there. We already had over 100 kids registered already. This camp was scheduled for mid-March, late March, and it was postponed. So we had close to 100 plus parents and athletes already registered. Those registrations are still good. We still hold on to their funds, and they'll still be able to participate. We hadn't had a lot of people requesting refunds or not wanting to come. So they just want to know when they're going to get a chance to come out there and compete. So we feel pretty good that our Charlotte event and our Georgia event, our Texas events, our Washington area, Maryland area event will be well. And we think that we'll do good in Chicago. We've already, a lot of kids already registered already.
Yes. So have you been talking to any other associations that are aligning with the CDC that you work with about safety?
Yeah, actually, there's a couple other camp operators similar to VTO Sports that do camps nationally, and we've been doing conference calls, trying to figure out when locations are going to be opening, trying to figure out what are going to be some of our safety measures. We just had a sharing of different ideas on Wednesday this week, where we talked about one of the things, some of the things we're going to do, like we're going to require masks, and the other company, they're called Next Gen, and they do more of the younger kids. They do like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And so he's doing the same thing I'm doing. He's planning on making sure that he limits the number of parents that are in the facility. He makes sure everybody has a mask, whether they are a parent or athlete or a fan. Nobody comes onto the premises without a mask. And then he's going to do like I'm doing, make sure his staff has masks. He's going to do the temperature testing. So we're kind of already been trying to align with each other to make sure that, we're doing everything we can so nobody can say, well, I went to the camp and they didn't do nothing. We just showed up and they let everybody in. They wasn't doing any social distancing. That's the last thing I need to get on social media or to get out to the public, that we're not taking that serious.
Yes, I understand that. And especially during this COVID-19, WYTV7 is a Christian organization, and we want everybody to be safe. Do you guys do anything like praying or anything like that before your events?
Yeah, we have invocation, and we do something called moment of silence, to be respectful of everybody's different religious beliefs. But we do, since football, is one of the most religious sports I've ever been in. And I remember I knew the Lord's Prayer, but a couple of my friends didn't when I started playing football in high school, and they learned it from our daily Lord's Prayer during practice and after practice. And in college football, we always had prayer before the game, after the game. And then I take that same approach to VTO Sports, is that, we're not going to force it on you, but we're going to let you know that we're believers.
Absolutely. So can you tell us, Coach, what does VTO stand for?
Again, it started out as Vince, Terrence, Otis. 3 dads. We were all neighbors, and we all played college football. We all had sons that were trying to get recruited. And so a friend of ours who did our marketing said, hey, I'm just going to use y'all initials. Are y'all okay with that? And it just took off. It's just the luck. They put my name first, Vince, and then they put the T and then the O, and we added the sports to the end. And that's kind of how it started. We all ran together for about 12 years, but those guys have, moved on to different things in their lives, and they decided to step away. And I'm still here trying to hold it down.
So, Coach, have you already invested in buying the mask, or do you want to take this time to ask anybody if they want to donate any masks to your organization during this COVID-19?
We would love some donations. We've been out here trying to find masks. We've ordered a few of the temperature gauges already ourselves. But anybody out there, one thing we're talking about, maybe partnering with somebody that can actually put VTO Sports on the mask, so it'll be a keepsake. We hadn't found anybody that could do that yet, but anybody out there and want to reach out and coordinate with us, whether you're donating them or you have a reasonable price that we could purchase, we would love to.
All right, Coach, go ahead and give them that website again so that they'll know how to contact you.
Yeah, our website is www.vtosports.net, and my email address is coachvince@vtosports.net. So you're welcome to email me directly. Go to the website. My contact is on the website also. But we would love to get anybody involved who want to get involved in it, especially if you have access to any of this protective gear.
Coach Vince, will you be putting updates on there? I know you said you don't have any dates, but will you be putting updates on there to let you know when possibly the camps will start or when people can register for the camps?
Yeah, what we're doing now, we're pushing out a weekly update to the parents who've registered. So they get an email from us saying, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we know. And then our website, as soon as we get dates, we post them on the event site. Then also we're going to use our social media platform to push it out. We're hoping that we'll have some dates in the next 2 weeks, because our plans are to hopefully run our camps through June into early July. Just getting a feel for everything opening, the whole approach from each of the states now opening up everything from malls to bowling alleys, that they will hopefully open up the facilities for us to use. So definitely you'll be looking for information coming directly from us via email if you've already registered. And if you haven't registered, you'll see it on our social media platform.
I know, Coach, some people may have just signed in to What's Your Testimony, and we're talking to Vince Jacob. He runs an organization called VTO. Coach, would you just tell people a little bit how you're lining up with the CDC guidelines during this COVID epidemic, and just go over a few highlights of what you're doing, what your plans are for your organization this summer?
Sure. Again, we'll be working with the local high schools and the local athletic departments to get access to the fields to host our camps. Once that has been determined that we have access to the camps, we'll set a date to host the camp. As a part of the camp, we'll be communicating out through all our channels on the requirements to participate. And one of the requirements to participate is to make sure you show up with a mask on. If you don't have access to a mask, we'll have a few masks we'll be able to give out to people ourselves. You will not be able to enter the facility without a mask, and we're going to make sure so that we keep in sync with the maximum number of people that the CDC said you can have in a group, which is 10, and we'll run our camps a little bit different and be a longer camp because it's going to take longer to get everything done, but the safety is more important than the length of the camp.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we would like to thank you for being a part of our program. Coach Jacob, we wish you much success. We would like to thank WYTV7 Christian Broadcast for letting us host today. We would like to take this time to remind anyone if they would like to donate masks, they can go to his website, or you can go to WYTV7.org, and we can get in contact with Coach Vince Jacobs. And we would just like to thank everyone, and we want to remind everybody to be safe, to be smart, and to wear their masks during this time. And remember, when believers pray, great things happen. And we learned that in James chapter 19. So we got to remember to pray, be vigilant, stay at home, and of course, wear our mask. This is Sharita Williams, and I am wearing my mask because I want to be safe. So anybody who's listening right now for WYTV7 Christian Broadcast Network, please wear your mask. That is our plea. We would like to educate people, and this is part of our education from WYTV7 Christian Broadcast. Thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you.